Welcome, everybody, to That Kind of Dance podcast, the weekly show where we talk about breaking bats and burning Gotham to the ground. I am joined, of course, by Joshua Burns and Christopher J. Mellon.
Oh, yeah, hell no.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes. As soon as I can call you Christopher, then you have my permission to die.
Wait, does that mean that Brian now is Bane the entire episode? Is that we're getting no Thornton, all Bane?
No.
There's no way that's possible.
can't do that.
Challenge. And Brian will not accept it. All right.
Not this week, but perhaps another week I shall accept that
Should be
challenge.
a good drunk episode, this what it would be.
Yeah, well, next time I'm drunk, I'll let you know.
All right, well, since February is right around the corner, we always like to take a look at what is coming out in the world of movies. Brian has a hastily put together, but again, passionately put together, the BlockBuster.
Oh, Laura will be so happy. She missed the BlockBuster jingle.
All right, so Brian, why don't you start us off? We are looking at February 2nd. We are looking at the movie Winchester. So this movie's inspired by a true story, right, of the Winchester family home in California.
Yeah, it's the San
That is what the
Francisco
trailer
thing,
claims.
right?
Yeah, it's designed to be a maze, designed to be confusing. It's apparently also the most haunted house in the United States. And
Helen Mirren probably has the most haunted chest.
Helen Mirren is the lead actress in this movie.
Yeah, well, it's also got Jason Clarke, the guy who played John Connor in Terminator Genesis, and he did other things that I can't
Many
recall.
other roles, Brotherhood, Zero Dark 30, and
Sure,
such.
that stuff too.
What was that show where they were in Chicago and he was police? It was one season, but it was fucking great.
Like it was called Chicago.
Was it really? Was it just called Chicago?
It was something about but it had Delroy Lindo. That was a
It was
really
called the
good
Chicago
show.
Code.
Chicago
Code. It was a really
such
good
a good show. Definitely gone before its time. Here's the thing: this is definitely something that is a genre to a lot of people. This is not a movie I like. I hate the jump scare movies. I'm not gonna see this.
I'm not gonna see it either. No.
No, it's a horror movie.
Well, there we go.
I very sparingly watch horror movies. Sorry. Hey, speaking of horror movies, by the way, February 9th, 50 Shades Freed comes out. Starring Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan.
Yeah, I will continue my hard pass streak on
But
everything
Josh,
50 Shades.
Josh, it's free. It's freed.
Nope.
It can fly.
Nope.
Never.
Like the 50 Shades.
It could fly, but it's got all kinds of scars and shit all over its ass and nipples.
Also that day, if you don't feel like being emotionally abused, you can go see Peter Rabbit, which stars James Corden and Margot Robbie and Daisy Ridley as a bunch of voices of cute little fluffy bunnies.
And then General Hux as
Domhnall Gleeson
human
as
protagonist.
a villain.
Is
Again.
it sad? I kind of want to see this. Not with my kids. Like, I kind of want to see this movie.
Yeah, check it out on Netflix. I'll add it to the list.
It's, oh God, no, not your list. It's certainly a movie pass movie, but I
The list is where where things go to die. That is the place things go to die. Your list is a boneyard.
Oh, the boneyard. I got you.
it's that dark, shadowy place that you're not allowed to go to, but yet we still have to ask about.
Well, that's the elephant graveyard. We own everything else the light touches.
The
so
sun
why do I need to
touches,
go
yes.
there?
Everything else the light touches is
Why the hell would I go to the one place that, I was told not to go?
I don't know,
own
Simba.
the
I don't
entire
know.
Sahara.
Well, why did you put Sons of Anarchy and everything else I love there?
Well, because I'm just not that invested yet. You have yet to sell me. You have yet to sell me on this stuff.
False.
Can we
False.
make a freaking bargain? Is there a show that can we do another Doctor Who Sons of Anarchy swap with between the two of you? Like someone figure out the show that equals
No, see, that was
equation.
you and I, and we're apparently men of honor. And Brian is a man of list and boneyard.
I now am worried that
Okay.
Brian has a collection of bones in his backyard that we had to be.
Wait, and
do
what
not.
you got to be more concerned about is the skin suit he puts on when we stop recording here.
But
That's Brian's night when we're done.
it rubs the Netflix on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. It puts the Hulu in the basket.
Oh God! Oh,
Oh man, that's good.
Oh fuck! You broke me, dude. All right, let's talk about the next movie, please.
The next movie coming out February 9th is the 1517 to Paris, Clint Eastwood's new movie.
So this is so awesome because they have the real life people that were there during this event being the actors.
Yep.
With the exception of, I guess, all the people that they killed to save a bunch of people's lives. But that's actually incredible that you're going to have real soldiers.
The thing is, I wonder how it plays. Like, it's, for me, like, this is, I mean, having the guys that, you know, that carried out this task play themselves, that's a tough thing in my eyes, right? So, like, I mean, I assume it's going to be, you know, pretty breathtaking to watch. It's certainly not going to be a movie theater thing for me, lest I have a goddamn heart attack. But otherwise, I'll probably download it on iTunes. Yeah, I mean, I love this kind of story.
This is the only movie on the 9th I actually want to see. I think the way that they're going about this is great. From the trailer too, it's, you know, when you put a camera in front of people, they just instantly turn into some weird wibbly version of themselves that doesn't resemble a human. And
where they keep on darting their eyes to the camera because they can't control it.
Yeah. Somebody, I was going to say that hasn't happened to somebody here. They don't look like that. They don't look stiff. They actually look pretty natural. Clint Eastwood's directing. I like his directing stuff, so I'll definitely see it. I think this movie is going to be great.
You know what? What's not funny, but what seems natural to me is that guys starring as themselves in roles where they executed a tactical takedown of a terrorist threat probably would welcome the direction of Clint Eastwood. Like, he seems to be the only director credible enough to direct these guys, right?
Yeah, totally.
If you're confused, talk to the empty chair right here. He'll tell you what to do.
That's kind of where I'm at with it, is that they can look at this dude and go, you know, I'm not sure, he might not kill me.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So February 16th is a special day for everybody because that's when Early Man comes out.
See, what Brian did there was he flipped the expectations.
I did the old bait and switch. It's called the Kansas City Shuffle. You see, I made you look left, and I was doing something on the right.
Lucky number 11 reference.
I gotcha.
50 points for a movie reference that we all enjoy.
Actually, I actually want to see Early Man. It's by the same makers of Wallace and Gromit. It's got some voice acting of Tom Hiddleston, Maisie Williams, Eddie Redmayne. So I don't know if I'm going to see it in the theaters.
No interest
buried
in
the
whatsoever.
lead. Could you get to it?
Because something else is coming out that day that may be pretty big deal. I believe it's called Black Panther.
It certainly is called Black Panther, and I already have my tickets.
Yeah, I know we're all going to see it. We're all going to see it opening night. Do we want to talk about how amazing it looks? Did you guys see the new trailer for it?
No, I have.
CJ is going blackout. He's going Star Wars blackout.
You're a moron. This new trailer was amazing.
That was the game day trailer from the playoffs.
Maybe. What are playoffs?
We'll get to that soon. Actually, we'll get to that later.
I actually think this might be the Super Bowl commercial. It had one scene where he.
If it was the Super Bowl commercial, you wouldn't see it. If it was the big game commercial,
thank you. I don't feel like being
seen
sued
it yet.
I'm sorry. You're right. You need to cut that out. My B.
I believe it was the professional Major League Football.
You're allowed to say the NFL. That's okay.
Semi-final playoff contest commercial
for the big game. Sports.
I'm gonna be. Christian and I are seeing it Saturday, the 17th. So just 2 days after Brian will be seeing it.
I would have seen it at least 3 times at that point.
You will not spoil anything.
I shall not. I will not. I promise. I'm a good person that way.
Super psyched about this movie.
February 23rd. There's 2 movies coming out. One that I have no idea what the hell it's about. It's Annihilation. It stars Natalie Portman and some other people.
It had me at writer of Ex Machina. I'm in.
Yes, I knew you would be, and I went, nope, Natalie Portman, out.
I mean, Oscar Isaac is in it too. Who knows for how much? Because apparently, I think.
But Oscar Isaac spends the whole time in the Upside Down.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like.
I'm okay with that.
And then also February 23rd to round out our month of mediocre movies and one amazing movie. is Game Night.
I can't tell if this movie is a pile of shit or amazing. And
I actually want to see this. It's got Rachel McAdams, Jason Bateman. I love Jason Bateman.
It's either going to be
Jason
horrible
Bateman.
bosses or drinking buddies. So
Jason Bateman.
I understand, but I mean, he's done bad movies. There are things that Jason Bateman's done. You're like, oh, I wish I had that time back.
Like Outside Starsky and Hutch. What are we talking about?
I don't have it off the top. Was he an Extract?
Yes.
Yeah, which was funny.
I hated that movie. It was boring as all hell.
You hate fun.
I don't hate fun
Because you like Ex Machina, you hate fun.
That's
That's a
valid point,
That's a fair
sir.
assessment on that one. 50 points for Josh for pointing out that I hate.
Oh, we're doing points again?
You have 50.
Do I get points for passionately putting this list together?
No, but you got points for something else already. So
How many points am I at?
you're at 50 and Josh is at 50. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the blockbuster for the month of February. As we can say, go see Black Panther or don't bother going to the movies this month. It's that was a little rough.
Yeah, that was rough.
I
That was
appreciate it.
rough.
So since we're still talking about the world of movies, let's continue it with a topic that we call screen to screen. So a whirlwind happened this week on the internet when it came to the world of movies and TV, but I want to focus on one thing that came out of nowhere. Last week, there was a trailer for Danny McBride showing up.
Two
Well,
teasers.
there was one
two.
last week, and then one this week. And it was Danny McBride. It was apparently the son of Crocodile Dundee.
Yep.
And he made a joke on, that's not a knife. This is a knife with no Australian accent whatsoever.
Check out the knife play. Yeah, it was very cool.
Really weird.
Funny.
Then, next week, Chris Hemsworth shows
That was
up
awesome.
in a teaser for the same movie.
Awesome.
And it's absolutely fun. The banter between them. Why'd you say it that way?
No, really?
Really? It was really?
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 Yeah.
And it was
great.
It was fantastic. And to which everyone goes, how did they make a movie without anybody knowing about it? Only to be, you have been had, internet, you have been had. This is an advertisement for Australia's tourism department.
I still don't
really?
want to go to Australia.
Really?
No, everything kills you in Australia.
Yeah,
You
everything.
go
Yeah,
there.
there's scorpions with wings. They have wings. But I'm sorry to be
And
the
you
bearer of
know-
bad news.
Criminals.
That's why I was trying
Wait,
to-
are you serious? This
I'm
isn't
serious.
a movie?
This is
It's
not a movie.
seriously-
This is
seriously
a tourism ad
tourism.
for the country of Australia. And I kind of hate them for this, but at the same time, mad respect Australia. Pretty damn good.
No, I'm salty about it.
I knew Josh would be really upset by this, and I'm sorry.
I really like the Crocodile Dundee movies. I really like them.
I
They're
do
like
too.
a guilty pleasure.
And I'm okay. And I was actually okay with Danny McBride taking over and Chris
Summer
Hemsworth.
breeze.
Like Chris Hemsworth being in it too as an Australian. I was like, oh, okay, maybe Hugh Jackman shows up. Who knows? He already did a movie called Australia. Why not?
Well, he's also Australian.
Yes, he was an Australian.
Did he even speak in an
awful.
Australian accent
Yes, he
in
did.
Australia?
Yes, he was. That's what, because it was the year
I didn't watch the movie. I just,
It was the year he hosted the Oscars, and he was like, I was an Australian, playing an Australian in a movie called Australian. I'm hosting. But Josh, yes, I'm so sorry to say this. It's not a trailer. Which now I say, can someone go greenlight this movie? Can someone go do this now?
I actually
nobody's gonna do it.
I actually hate you a little bit for making this a topic and it's not actually a movie.
I'm sorry to bust the truth on you.
No, you've done. Move it along.
Will this-
I'm
will
never
this help
going
you?
to Australia.
Will this help you now? How about this? We got a trailer for Sneaky Pete season 2.
So I'm on record about how much I love Sneaky Pete season 1. This trailer was not good. It was very confusing. It was all over the place. There was intrigue, and that's great, but like I didn't feel like the trailer told a story at all.
Do you know why? Because nobody saw Sneaky Pete, so they have to.
I
intrigue
saw
you to-
Sneaky Pete.
I know we did a whole show on Sneaky Pete, but no one else did, and they need people to go. What's this season? What's this show? There's 2 seasons.
I gotta tell you, bro. If a show gets a second season, people watched it. Like this trailer wasn't good.
I know, but Amazon just cut a whole bunch of shows that people were watching and kept Sneaky Pete. They're very weird when it comes to their TV programming.
Brian, can you weigh in? You watched it.
I think the use of Imagine Dragons in this trailer is fantastic.
Yeah, but it's not even a good edit. It's just sort of hodgepodge. Like I just don't like the use of the music because it doesn't ever culminate. Like there's no denouement and it kills me.
I don't know. I like the trailer, but I also like Giovanni Ribisi, and I'm going to watch this regardless. So
of course I'm going to watch the show, but that's not what I'm saying.
I think again that you're unfortunately, Josh, you are not the target audience for this trailer. So absolutely, it's not gonna make you.
Your
happy.
mother's not the target audience.
It's not meant for you. It's meant for the people who didn't watch the show to get them excited because their friend probably told him to watch the show and they're like, I'll add it to my list.
I didn't find it exciting.
Because it's not for you. It's for the other people. They'll get out another trailer that's for you.
I go at it like I go at everything. Fresh eyes, right? No memory. I didn't find it exciting. I found it confusing. As fresh eyes, I found it confusing.
I don't think it's supposed to make you understand anything that's going to happen in the season. I think it's supposed to be confusing. It's about a con. And you can't give away too much of the story without ruining the whole point of the premise of the show.
My real concern, my honest concern is that I feel like they borrowed too much from like the Now You See Me type stuff.
Here's the trailer's only
the conceal reveal type shit.
The trailer's only 1 minute and 48 seconds long, so I mean, to me, this is more of a teaser than a trailer.
And that's what I was about to say. I don't really consider this a trailer.
CJ, you're more of a teaser than a trailer.
You're goddamn right, I am.
Well, I mean, CJ definitely is a tease, but this definitely, it's not long enough to be considered a trailer in my eyes. It feels more like a teaser. But again, it's Amazon Prime, so this is probably going to be the only trailer you get. No joke.
Oh, God, you're right.
It comes out in March.
That's right. So they did come out later with a release date of March 9th, which is good.
It's a little over a month away. They're not going to release another
perfect
trailer.
time.
This is all you're going to get.
If you have not watched Sneaky Pete, go watch the first season. It's a great show. Bryan Cranston is phenomenal in it, too. Go watch the show.
I think that's going to be the big reveal. I think Bryan Cranston is coming back.
So we're going to move for a moment from Sneaky Pete, which is something that we all love, and just kind of ask Hollywood one question. What the hell were you thinking? Nicolas Cage, ladies and gentlemen, that right there should be the whole story, is in a new movie called Mom and Dad. And it's about the desire of parents to murder their children. And it's Nicolas Cage at his most Nicolas Cage-ish. Josh, have you seen this trailer?
I did watch this trailer. And I'm never getting that 2 minutes and 7 seconds back. Ever. It's gone. I've lost it.
Yeah.
Into the ether. I'm never getting that time back.
I'm really...
It's actually Nicolas Cage has stolen 2 minutes and 7 seconds from my children. That's what's just happened.
So instead of gone in 60 seconds, it's gone in 127 minutes. Or seconds.
Seconds. And he has stolen that time from my children. It's gone forever.
I feel like for the premise, they casted it perfectly.
Absolutely. Perfect casting.
Dog shit people
for the premise.
A dog shit premise.
It works.
I mean, I think whoever is the director of this film just said, "Hey, Nick, you don't need a script. Just you do you, man. Can you chase the kids around and try to murder them?"
Nick, you've always been known to go from 1 to about an 11. Can you ratchet it up to a 13? Can you just go? Like, we'll only do one take, so just do what you feel. And that's the take we'll use.
Are we sure that Nick Cage himself did not direct this movie?
We don't, and unfortunately,
maybe Nick Cage was like, I really feel like pretending to murder children for an hour and a half. What avenue can I do that through?
I feel I should murder the children.
Well, it's a subject that's never been tackled, so
I feel like it might be a dark reflection of our times.
It's to pay off the pyramid mausoleum he has for when he dies. Yeah, it's really just it's like Nicolas Cage just went off, man.
I might watch this just to see that scene where he's singing the Hokey Pokey.
Exactly. He's singing the Hokey Pokey while he's trying to murder his children.
Put your right foot in. You take your right foot out. You do the Hokey Pokey and you
What is going on? And I'm sorry, Josh. Unlike, remember how we thought we were going to get this wonderful Crocodile Dundee movie? This is a real movie. This is not a fake out. This is not a viral marketing campaign.
It's not a Mother's Day ad?
It's not a Hallmark ad to sell cards. This is an actual movie.
I feel like this could be a fantastic way to sell some flowers and chocolate for your mom on Mother's Day.
Call your mom, otherwise
Be
this will
like,
happen.
hey, at least your mom's not trying to murder you, so you should probably send her some flowers.
Kids, stop eating Tide
Happy
Pods
Mother's
long
Day.
enough to go see this movie.
This is who that trailer is directed to.
Exactly. It's for the kids who are eating the Tide Pods.
The Tide Pod eaters?
The Tide Pod
Absolutely.
eaters. And by the time this movie comes out, they will all hopefully be gone.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
The next bit of news is something that's got me. I don't want to say this because I fear if I say it out loud, it will become a reality. The Mighty Ducks may be coming back as a TV series.
I don't know if maybe the article you put in says they are coming back.
Well, it's still like in that, it's in
R is a
development.
definite term saying that it is happening.
Well, I think we can let lastnighton.com. I don't think the editorial staff
I
is
also
really.
see words like is getting a revival. That is a definite term.
But they're writing the scripts, like they're not there yet. There's like people are lying, but it's not bought and sold for.
Oh, okay. All right.
And no words of Emilio Estevez is attached. News alert: he will not be attached.
It says it's not.
Like he will not come to the show.
I don't believe even he wants to commit career suicide.
Yeah, why must you take everything that we love and ruin it? Make your own new thing.
Well, let's face it.
Be inspired by the Mighty Ducks, but just don't call it the Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks is the only good Mighty Ducks. They ruined it themselves when they went to D3.
Yeah, D3 was awful. I like D2. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying I like it. I like it.
And I mean, let's really, if you really want to get down to brass tacks here, Mighty Ducks is just Bad News Bear on ice.
Perfectly fine with it. And they didn't call it Bad News Bears on Ice. They just called it the Mighty Ducks. They made their own thing. Make your own thing. Just go make your own thing.
They actually named a professional hockey team after them.
They did.
It was influential enough to make a dent on professional sports forever. That's
yeah.
I'm not sure you can leave a more indelible mark than that. You've got a professional sports team that has won championships named after an Emilio Estevez movie.
You know what? Since we are now at the end of a screen to screen, I was going to award points to whoever won this segment, and after that joke, Brian just tanked. So 50 points to Josh for winning screen to screen. Oh, Brian, you did it to yourself. But you know what, Josh? It's funny that you bring up. It's funny that you bring up
because now we go into tech perspective, which I'm not going to say shit about.
Josh, it's funny you bring up sports because I happen to love going around the internet, finding the weird, finding the obscure, and then asking for a tech perspective. It's an angry tech perspective today.
It is an angry tech perspective.
So, Joshua Burns, the year 2020 may have a lot of things going for it. Change in the world. We may even have jetpacks, flying cars. Elon Musk will probably invent some new company that will make millions of dollars. And
he invented a flamethrower that looks like a super soaker.
A flamethrower. But Vince McMahon is coming back and saying, hey, the XFL is returning in 2020 without all the gimmicks. And before we get too far into the story, I watched the announcement of it. Does Vince McMahon just spend all his free time smoking cigars and drinking scotch? Like, Jesus, this man's voice sounds like Nick Nolte.
I got to tell you, bruh, like you saw him at the press conference. I can't wear a suit like that. That 70-plus-year-old dude is cut.
He's 72. He could kick the shit out of anyone I know.
That's kind of what I'm saying. Like he's in great shape.
In his defense, CJ, the people you know are people.
I know an ex-bodybuilder, all right, and Vince McMahon would kick his butt. You're going for points, Brian. Do you really want to attack me?
When I look at the potential for XFL to relaunch in 2020, you want to give me more football that's going to sort of bridge the gap between actual football and baseball? Fine. Yeah, like give it over. And when XFL was a thing in the early 2000s, I watched it because it was football and I'm entertained by football. So do I think it's going to be everything he said it was in the press conference? Probably not, right? But I'm not totally sold that this isn't a ploy to get him into the ownership stake in the
NFL.
Carolina Panthers. So, because their owner is, he's selling the business,
right?
So I'm not sure this isn't a ploy, but if the XFL does relaunch in 2020, I will absolutely watch, because when they did it last time, they had actual talent, and there were two guys I can think of went to the NFL from the XFL,
right?
And they had one former NFL guy that played very well in XFL. It's a faster game because inherently, when you have a lower bar for talent, which you do, these guys couldn't make it in the NFL. The game's gonna be like sort of college pace, but at an elevated level because of the rules. So I was fine with it. Faster than the college game, not quite as slow as the professional game, semi-pro, if you want to call it. I'm fine with that, but yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I don't give a shit what format you give me football. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I put it out to our social media sites, and I got a couple of responses from fans. Andrew, and I'm gonna put your comment just in different orders, is that he remembers the first time the XFL was around. That was 2001. It was there for one season on NBC. It left a real bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. But with what's going on right now in the NFL, there's there's too many odd rules, some that he doesn't agree with. There's obviously the XFL has a rule that if you have a criminal background, you're not going to be allowed to play. And Vince McMahon explicitly said, even if you have a DUI, you're not allowed to play in the XFL. He goes, yeah, fat chance on that actually sticking through, especially if you want to get some of the talent. People will not care as much, but people will care. And I'm summarizing a little bit for there. And then when I brought it up to Facebook, we got a couple people responding to it. But it sounds like, Josh, you want to say something about that little rule.
No, I do. I actually think that based upon Vince McMahon's record with the WWE, if there are infractions, those players won't play. Yeah. So I'm inclined to believe what he says. I love that politics and social issues will play not at all in the XFL, and that he's going to adhere to a rule that we expect our players to be great players and better humans.
Yeah. I like that aspect
what he
too.
said.
So I then turned over to Facebook, and Dan Newbert commented back and basically said, hey, listen, don't put this into NFL versus XFL kind of thing. First off, this is happening
it's not happening. There's no comparison.
The NFL, this is also happening during the NFL's off season, right? So when there's not football on, this is when the XFL is actually going to be there. So
I said that.
No one-to-one competition. He's the same thing. He likes the fact that social issues are taken away, that, you don't have to worry about that becoming a spotlight with it. The NFL right now, he said, quote, is doing a good job of imploding it on itself. So it's not something like the XFL is going to take down the NFL. The NFL's got its own issues that it has to work through. So it's not like the XFL is there to change that. He's just really hoping that they're not going to do kind of what Vince McMahon said they won't do, which is get too gimmicky and offering up a lot of stupid things like they did in the early 2000s. He wants it to be successful. And then Brian Roman said to us on our Patreon page that, Josh, he wants to be on whatever XFL fantasy league that you create. He is there. And as long as they don't try to compete with the NFL, he doesn't seem why this is unreasonable. As long as it's not about the theatrics and the drama, and it's just about football, he wants it all year round. So it seems that the overall consensus from people that I've talked to is, hey, more football is what I want. If you're going to streamline it, make it 2 hours and get rid of some of the things that are distracting right now to the NFL, I'm there. Just please let it be good. Like, they're all just saying, please don't let it be bad. And the fact that the WWE has actual no affiliation with this whatsoever. This is Vince McMahon's own $100 million that he sold and started his own company to get this in. And he is the sole owner of all the teams. They're seeing, just like you said, with the WWE, he took a no-nonsense rule to it, and he's going to bring that to the XFL. So, like, people are actually hopeful for the XFL, but they're, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Again, I think it'll be entertaining, but it's not a professional sport. We can't view it as a professional sport because it's not that. It's in its infancy. So, like, it'll be entertaining for how long? For how many seasons?
Right.
I don't know.
But is Guts coming back?
do you have it? I want the aggro
That's
crack.
really the only kind of sporting event I would watch anymore.
But that's the beauty of that kind of nerd, right? We've talked about how this is not only about comics and movies. This is about anything that we have a passion for. And I'm glad to see that people have a passion for, talking about the XFL. Who knew? All right. I can feel all the nerds getting like, hey, what's going on? So let's get the nerd. If you're nerdy, come back in. Brian, you can come back in. I want to talk about this.
Did I not just mention Guts? I'm here.
So, Mr. Burns, I also know that you had a very fun time. I think you've ordered now an Apple HomePod that is going to be on sale for February 9th.
It'll be delivered to my house February.
Oh, sorry. It is hitting the market, but I think pre-orders are up right now. Is that what's going on?
Pre-orders are up. I have ordered mine. It will be at my house on launch day, February 9th. I will have a HomePod.
So, a lot of people are wishy-washy with it because some of the features that they talked about are not coming at launch. A lot of them are focused around having multiple units of HomePods and making the stereo system and really some of the extra music aspect for it and some of the assistant aspects are missing. But not to be outdone and just to cause enough controversy, Sonos decided that they have to throw their hat in the ring and say 2 cents about this. So they are releasing a promotion for a limited time that is 2 Play Ones for the same price as 1 HomePod, which is $349.
Wow. And if you want a really shitty speaker, you should absolutely buy that.
Here's the thing, because I also talked to some other tech people about this. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this deal? And they said this. Unfortunately, audiophiles, right, they absolutely appreciate everything sound quality, and the HomePod, from what other people have heard, because the general public hasn't heard it yet, has great audio quality. I mean, kicks a Play One's ass. But most people don't care about audio quality. I say that's wrong.
Dude, listen.
They don't.
A Play One is a dog shit speaker.
I agree.
It is really bad.
I agree. The way that Sonos is pitching this, though, is right. It's 2, 1. You get the stereo, and this has integration with Amazon Alexa, and it's going to have integration with Google Assistant, and you can get all the streaming services. Because with the HomePod,
wonderful.
you're tied into just Apple Music.
Do you know what it's not?
Apple.
It's not an Apple product. Right. Do you know why I buy? Do you know why I bought a HomePod?
No, why did you buy a HomePod? I can't.
It's an Apple product. That's the only reason I bought it. I don't own an Echo. I don't own a Google Home or whatever the fuck. I've been waiting for the Apple product. I bought the Apple product. I probably won't use it as an assistant. I don't give a shit about that. You know what I want? A speaker. My Bose SoundLink 3 is sort of getting worn out. Like, it's starting to distort. I'm done with it. I want a new speaker. I bought a new speaker. I needed a new Apple toy. That's all I care about.
And while I am an Apple sheep, right, as some people will say, I can't justify this product. Like, it's not, like, it's a good speaker. That's not a use case I would ever want. And Siri's a terrible assistant, so I don't want one of those. But I don't want Alexa. I don't want I want Siri to just be better so I can actually use it for something. What about you, Brian? You've been very quiet. I know you got the palatial estate. I mean, what do you think about the fact that Apple's now into this system and Sonos is trying to get in on it?
Well, Sonos is just the dirty liars. I mean, no, I mean they're afraid Apple's going to take some of their sales, so that's what they're doing, and it makes sense. And maybe they'll sell a couple extra Play Ones, and good for them. I'm not buying at launch because I don't have a need for it right now. Much like when the watch first launched, I didn't buy it right away. I'll wait until some of the other features are added and involved, and then I'll probably purchase one. But I mean, none of these speaker / assistant / labradoodles really work the way they're supposed to. So I'm interested to see if Apple can raise the bar at all.
Yeah, and the thing that I'll bring up to defend this, at least I'll play devil's advocate on both sides of this, is when everybody saw the iPod, right? They're just like, oh well, listen, I can get you an MP3 player with with a memory stick in it, or I can get you something else that'll do all that and it'll be fine. But what was missing and what made the iPod so great was the user interface and the way that people function with it. It was the same way when the iPhone came out. People were like, oh, it doesn't have a keyboard and it doesn't have a stylus. This thing will never take off because it's just no good.
No thanks, I'll stick to my BlackBerry.
Right, and now it's okay. Well, this is fantastic, and there's other examples of that, but it's. People like their cylinders, right? They like saying, hey, dingus, do something, and then it does something. And a lot of people have a lot of Apple products, and all the shade that this product is getting right now and all the crap people are throwing at it, it's the same arguments, the same crap that people made when the iPod and the iPhone came out. And I have a feeling that once they actually put the features on there, right, once they actually just get it up, a lot of us will be proven wrong. I'll definitely wait for a smaller mini version of this, which Apple will graciously sell me. With basically just the Siri stuff. But I'm always skeptical. I'll give you the nerd's advice. I'm always skeptical of buying first generation anything. So I hope it works out for them, and I hope it works out for you, Josh, as you venture into the product.
I'm hoping it ends up being sort of an Airport Extreme, Airport Express type of deal, where I have my HomePod and I can add smaller speakers elsewhere.
Well, yeah, because AirPlay 2, and I'm not going to get too technical, AirPlay 2 allows you to do this multi-room pairing, and right now that's why it's not.
Right now, they want you to add additional HomePod.
Right. And I don't want
to buy 3 of those.
No, I want HomePod minis, right? You want something kind of smaller, or
exactly right.
It doesn't
exactly. Yeah,
it doesn't allow you to plug in other things. So we shall see what's going on with it. I'm very curious to see what the market says and what you say. I want to turn over to you to say, what do you think about the HomePod? What do you think about the fact that Apple is very late to this? But is it late, but they're doing it right? I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say.
Late and better is my prediction.
Josh, this one's actually thrown in by you. The new Amazon Go store in Seattle is officially open, right, to the general public. We had talked about
talked about it a while ago.
I read an article by Amazon that said, we don't really care if you occasionally steal things.
They've got so many cameras. They've got so many, different ways to observe shelves and what's being what's being taken off the shelf, things like that. It's going to be kind of hard to do that. And as someone who doesn't make it a habit of stealing, all right. I mean, I just want to walk in, grab my water and beef jerky and leave.
And when we had talked about this previously, we talked that really this only works in big cities, right? New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, those kinds of areas, right? Where it's a grab and go bodega-esque environment.
I think it works in cities. I think it works in major, airports, train stations, bus stations, things like that, right? But it doesn't work like a Wawa does in Horsham, Pennsylvania.
Nothing works like a Wawa.
I saw a picture of the store that was open, and the tagline ran, "This is a picture of the line outside of Amazon's new store, whose whole premise is so that you can go in and buy stuff to avoid lines." And the line is like down the street, there's a point there.
But there's always a line at launch. Always, people want to try it out. There's always going to be that.
Oh no, I agree. I just found it funny.
Was it ironic? Was it like Ray Yane on your wedding day?
It was not like that. It was more like 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife.
No, none of that is ironic.
Yeah,
those are not ironic things.
Was it like meeting the man of your dreams and then meeting his beautiful wife?
That's also not ironic. That's coincidental.
Kind of in the same vein of that as well.
You can't ignore me. There's points to be awarded at the end of this topic.
I totally agree, Brian. It's exactly like those things.
So here's my question. Let's say they open one in Philadelphia. They open one up in our area. Is this something you would go to? Is this something that you would want to experience?
It's not something I would go out of my way to go to. It's a convenience that if it's directly in my way, I will take advantage.
Get out of my way, Amazon Go store. I'm coming through.
I'm not gonna seek out an Amazon Go store. Like if it's,
I'm just saying they open one up, pop, and you happen to be in the city. Would you go
on purpose?
Yes, on purpose.
No, this is not.
If I had a need for water and beef jerky and it just so happens to be in my line of vision, I will go in.
I think I was pretty clear. Like, if it's on my way from A to B and I needed something, that would be my preferred stop. Because all I have to do is open an app and they know what I'm taking. So, yeah.
So with seeing how this could be successful, and again, Amazon's like light years ahead of other people doing this. Do you see this as a thing that other retailers or other convenience stores should move to? Or is this something that really technology companies should stay in their lane?
I think it would be ill-advised for anyone outside of the
you can't say Silicon Valley, but the technical bubble.
Ridiculous customer base, right? And not only that, they have an amazing infrastructure and their technology setup is fantastic. Like, I'm not sure any other retailer has the potential to do something like that.
Maybe a Walmart? Like, would they make a little Go station? Like, would they have a little Walmart Go?
They would have the difference between Walmart and Amazon, obviously, is that Amazon has this amazing internet one-click buy type infrastructure and probably the same number of shoppers that Walmart has. And I know that's a ridiculous statement to make, but I have to feel
I think it's true. Yeah.
I have to feel like it's close. Walmart just simply doesn't have the tech infrastructure that Amazon has. They just don't. They don't have it.
So what I'm saying is 5 years down the road, should even Walmart get into this?
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be the hope, is that there would be more places like this where you could, from A to B, walk into and never have to interact with a human, because I don't want to talk to a toothless.
That's why they have those self-checkouts, so I don't have to.
God, self-checkouts. All right, and our final topic for Tech Perspective is an application and a little service that I found called TripIt. And Josh, you are a avid traveler. It's for your work. You are constantly on the road, in the sky, playing straight on automobiles. Can you just explain to me a little bit about what TripIt does, and maybe this can kind of help our listeners if they're traveling at all?
Well, I mean, TripIt is an independent app that is a pretty easy plug-in to an expense app called Concur. A lot of companies use it.
Mm-hmm.
TripIt will give you sort of a total view on your itinerary, right? From booking through arriving and all aspects of it. But listen, TripIt is unnecessary. Your airline app tells you about notifications before TripIt does. It's just like an extra email you get. That's whatever. Now, the thing that we're talking about this evening is TripIt lets you know how long the airport security line is in real time.
Which is always the biggest pain in the ass for me when I go traveling, because I'm not TSA, pre-check or anything. So I had to wait in line like peasants. Like peasants,
right. I get it. Except, if you went to the TSA site for the airport you were traveling, it would tell you approximately how long the lines are. Like, this is not something new. Essentially, TripIt has a new feature where it's pulling information from the TSA site at the airport you're going to. That's all. It's not fancy. If you go to the TSA site for the airport you're traveling, it's going to tell you how long the line is at the terminal you're departing from.
Now, to make it worse, Josh, is with TripIt, only 5 airports right now are actually in the program for the TSA waiting time. Like, to let you know, it is. There's only 5 airports that it works from.
Right, so the rest you can just go look up on your own, I guess.
And in order to get the most out of it, you have to sign up for, surprise, surprise, a subscription of $49 a year. So it sounds like something that's really good on the surface. And listen, tying in with Concur, if you ever have to expense things, I mean, that's nice. I mean, I use Concur, and it's not always the best experience.
I use Concur, it's fine. Yeah,
it'll do the job, but it's nice to not have to actually do the expensing yourself. But I mean, is the value of it at $50 a year worth it?
So if you're the kind of person that needs everything centralized, right? Like TripIt, what TripIt does a really good job of is sort of syncing with your email, calendar, all that stuff, which, I mean, clearly the independent travel apps, American Airlines and the like, they don't do that. They don't sync with your calendar. TripIt does that. So if you need that sort of level of babysitting. However, not only am I pre-checked, but even if I weren't, a 30-second trip to the TSA site at the airport I was going to would tell me how much time it's going to take.
Yeah, just bookmark it.
I'm not about it. Like, I just don't. This is a subscription that is not necessary.
Right. This is kind of the aspect I took, was to just kind of tell people, hey, listen, this may sound like technology is doing you a favor, but it's really not. I mean, you already have a lot of the tools at your disposal already that you shouldn't have to pay extra money or just kind of go through this middleman and give out your data to another company, right? When you can kind of do it yourself. So be a smart nerd and don't do this. So I would say we are not recommending, TripIt for all you people. So don't
I'm pretty sure I saw a Black Mirror episode like this.
It sounds about right. And you know what? That is the end of Tech Perspective, Brian. And because you mentioned Black Mirror, I'm going to give you 50 points for the segment. All right, so now that we're out of dead heat, we're going to go into the wonderful world of comics. We're going to talk about how it's affecting...
in a dead heat, we're going to give Brian points.
We're going to talk about how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how it is affecting Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk!
So we have some set footage of Brie Larson in her Captain Marvel costume for the first time, and a lot of people are wondering, why is it teal? Brian, talk to me about these pictures and calm down the internet that they're getting all mad about the fact that it's not the same colors.
I would love to calm down the internet, but I cannot, because I too am wondering, why teal? I mean, the set photos, everything looks great. Brie Larson looks great as Carol Danvers. There was a couple set photos of her in like a fighter pilot uniform, which, obviously she is, Captain Carol Danvers, so it should make sense. But like they showed a couple of her in the suit as Captain Marvel, and everywhere that in the comic book costume is supposed to be red, it's teal, and I don't know why. Here's what I will say. There's no reason to get angry. Maybe teal just shows up better on camera than red. And I trust Kevin Feige to do whatever he may want with colors and hues and everything.
Okay, so I read two theories.
The only thing I can think might be the case is that they might go back in with some sort of digital effects and make it like spacey red or something like that.
Right. So green screen makes sense.
Green screen. So the two theories I heard was that, right? It was obviously, hey, that's just a thing that they'll do in post to make it a vibrant color and maybe add some shimmer and stuff to it. So let that happen. The other one that's, and I'm hoping that your expertise can fill me in on this. A few people are suggesting that is the Kree version of the suit, and that she'll get her colors later.
I mean, that was something that crossed my mind too.
What does that mean? Those words don't make sense to me.
You're familiar with the Kree, though?
Well, he's not, because he hasn't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., have you?
No.
So the Kree is an alien race. It's in the cinematic universe. It has showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In fact, Kree blood is how they raised Phil Coulson from the dead in that show.
Did it show up in Guardians of the Galaxy?
It did not. Hi, Mark. No, it didn't show up in Guardians of the Galaxy. Many other alien races showed up, but they did not. The Kree is legitimately just an alien race of conquerors and things like that. Captain Marvel gets his powers through that alien race. I forget exactly how, and my father is probably screaming at me right now. But my point being is that in the 70s, when they originally, it was always red and blue or red and black. That's always been the costume. And for a time, like recently, they've introduced another character called Ma-Vell, who is a Kree character.
Brian, Ronan was a Kree. Guardians of the Galaxy, he was fucking Kree. Like, I don't understand.
Did you just have to Google that?
No, I tried to call you on it and you said no, and I knew I was right, and then I went ahead and confirmed it.
Okay, well then I was wrong. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember everything. Which Guardians? The first one or the second one?
The Kree they declared war on Xandar. There was a treaty with the Kree, and Ronan the Accuser did not agree with the fucking treaty.
Yeah, you're right. Wow.
I fucking know I'm right.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Do you know what that means? 100 points to Josh for correcting Brian.
Anyway, there is a Kree character called Mavel who has that teal color to his costume.
Okay,
That's where I was going before Josh proved me wrong, and I'm completely ashamed.
Okay, so let me cliff note this. The Kree were alluded to in Guardians of the Galaxy that they are an alien race in charge of this, and she may have gotten the suit from them. Therefore, it's their color scheme, and then eventually she'll turn into the red, white, and blue mistress that we all know.
Possibly. I mean, that's one explanation for it. Yeah.
But in the meantime, give me all the Brie Larson you possibly.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's no problem. Do we have a release date for?
I don't think we have an exact
2019.
March 2019?
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to come out between the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
So I think
we have anything but the photos at this point.
Right,
we haven't.
They're still shooting. That's why they're still.
It's very hush.
I get it. I mean, like it's shrouded in mystery.
Perfect.
It's very hush hush. But the rumor is that she shows up in Avengers in this coming Avengers movie.
Oh, that's fine with me.
Which will perfectly kind of segue right into her solo movie, which will go back to the 90s. I think is supposed to take place in. Kind of explain her origin, and then she'll probably play a bigger role in the next Avengers Infinity War movie. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. Brie Larson looks great. Not just as a human, but she looks great as Captain Marvel.
Don't freak out. They're not like throwing out canon and making something completely different. Multiple explanations.
And even if they were, are you really going to be upset by the costume?
Right,
I could say a gajillion different heroes that they've changed the costume on in these movies. Star-Lord being one of them.
All right, and our next bit of comic book news is that Netflix has dropped a trailer for Marvel's Jessica Jones Season 2.
What day of my life am I missing?
I watched it. It sucked.
Josh has not been a fan of Jessica Jones. I mean, is that the consensus that we've had? You were not a big fan of the first season and her role in The Defenders?
I mean, I liked it better than Iron Fist and The Defenders.
I love that. So I loved that first season. I think it was great. I'm looking forward to it.
Not great.
No, I loved it. It's not. It's no Daredevil. It's no Daredevil season 1. No doubt. But it's really good.
I didn't like it as much as I like Luke Cage.
See, I liked it better than Luke Cage.
I know you did.
I like Luke Cage better than this, but I mean, we all like this better than Iron Fist, right?
So like, I'll watch it for continuity's sake and for no other reason.
If this is is it a superhero movie? Yes. Well, then I'm going to watch it. Kind of answer.
Look, I've watched Daredevil season 1 multiple times.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of that. I never
repeated Jessica Jones, and I won't.
Yeah, I don't know about rewatch quality, but I enjoyed watching it, and I'll definitely watch the season 2.
Yeah, I'll watch it once. Yes.
Brian, was anything from the trailer jumping out? The stuff that US?
No, I mean this seems like again a little teaser type thing. I mean nothing that I was just like, oh my god! I will say what was really cool. There's a really short scene in the trailer where it looks like they're unwrapping a painting of Jessica. And that's the same guy who did all the covers for the comic book series, which was very cool. I can't remember his freaking name, and I'm David Mack maybe. So that was cool because he did all the covers for the series. Other than that, like Jessica Jones, gimme. Kristen Ritter being a badass and taking photos.
I think the trailer definitely shows you that she's grown, and that's cool, right? Because she was like not just a little bit of an asshole.
she was an asshole.
Yeah, like supreme asshole and like sort of a petulant child, and it shows that she's matured, and that's cool. Like seeing the character development is cool, and I definitely will watch it because it's part of the series. It's part of the whole Netflix Marvel universe.
Well, get your Netflix subscription ready because on March 8th, 2018, it will launch in its entirety. So I know we're going to spend the weekend and the week.
Isn't that the same day as Sneaky Pete? I lose my entire weekend if that's the case.
Sneaky Pete is March 9th. So yes.
I lose my entire weekend.
Let's go.
Please someone tell my girlfriend that I will not be available.
Someone feed the cats is the more important part there.
I have plenty of people to feed the cats. And then that's not important at all.
There's not that many cats, actually, CJ.
There's not a lot of cats because a lot of people.
There's a low ratio of cats to males.
Gotcha. Good to know. All right, well, that is the end, ladies and gentlemen, of Cape Talk. And because the lovely Brian Thornton, I'm just going to give you 100 points because I can. All right,
And I'm lovely.
Now,
nice.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Cape Talk. And just because I can, Brian, you get 100 points because it was Cape Talk. That leads us to a tie score, 200 to 200, and that is now a perfect segue for us to talk about a product, a movie, whatever. It's a time where we give it the third degree. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the nerd degree. So, Josh, you sent out this link. The full link and all these products can be found in our show notes. Is an article from the Chive that here are some of the coolest Kickstarters in 2018, but we want to focus on one. And I don't even know how to introduce it. The sound reactive LED mask. Josh, what the hell am I looking at?
Well, it seems as though if you were to join an orgy of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman sort of status,
Eyes wide shut. Yep.
Right, you could put this on and it will react to the music that is in the room and further obscure your face from whatever sexual deviance you're about to perpetrate on.
I feel like this mask is also worn for any kind of occult and cult related productions.
I look at it and I feel like I have to be able to dance like these people in order to wear the mask. And B, I have to worry about being shot by law enforcement officers.
Yeah. So
if I were wearing this, because this shit is scary. This is some, immediately my thought process is these are the people from The Purge that ring my doorbell.
Right. Brian, with that image in mind, can you just describe like two of the masks so people kind of get an idea of what the hell we're talking about?
One was a cat I saw with some sort of LED, like I don't know, and one was just like a Max Headroom kind of face, like just kind of like blinking. It's just they're just blinking. They're blinking to the time of the music. Am I required to listen to shitty dubstep when I wear this mask?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one looks
I can't imagine.
You can listen to
Fleetwood
Fleetwood Mac, but the mask will react completely differently.
I can't imagine this being useful if I'm listening to like Dust on the Wind or something.
You're listening to Pearl Jam and the mask is just doing one little thing.
I don't see how this would react to Creed, is all I'm saying.
So one of them looks like
maybe when I get that swell of hold me now, I'll get that like really large like.
We're gonna start owing Scott Stapp some royalty checks. I swear to God.
I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking.
So
I'm thinking if I wore
the
this
mask is going crazy. The mask I'm wearing is going absolutely insane right now.
The first thought in my head would be maybe 6 feet ain't so far down. It's all I'm saying.
The one that gets me the most is the one that's like the Dia de la Muerte mask. And it looks like, what was that terrible movie with Brie? Was it Brie Larson? No. Oh my God.
Blake Lively.
That was not a bad movie.
I can't remember the name of the movie.
That was not a bad movie.
What movie was? I'm not saying it's a bad movie. What was the name of the movie?
Oh, the Oliver Stone movie, Savages.
Savages.
Okay. That was not a bad movie.
It reminds me of the math, like almost like they would, if they were like, hey, we have a bit more money, let's put these masks on them instead of these other bone masks. This is weird. Like clearly you're supposed to be on a lot of drugs when you're seeing this, and I have a feeling people are going to get murdered when this shit shows up. I have no train of thought anymore. I'm so lost.
I just why? Unless you're about to step up to the streets or serve somebody or stomp the yard, there's no reason to own this mask. This mask isn't going to really react to me playing Call of Duty at 4 a.m. It's just not... I can't take this to my Nintendo Switch rooftop parties.
Very true.
Listen. Like, as we do...
every week.
In terms of body odor, this is sitting Indian style in the mulch gardening on a hot July day.
In terms of body odor, this is the guy who doesn't shower every day, but also has his bulldog sleep in bed with him.
Oh, shit. That's a bad one.
In terms of body odor?
Yes.
I give this what Tom Cruise must have smelled like after filming the orgy scene in Eyes Wide Shut.
Like splooge.
And we all know he does all his own stunts. So he did all that shit.
You know what? After that last pit there, I actually started to smell it in my mouth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm awarding 100 points to Brian Thornton for the end of the nerd degree. And that takes him to a resounding 100-point lead. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a victory for Brian Thornton.
Thank you. Suck it, Josh Burns. I'd like to thank the Academy for allowing me to have these points. I would like to thank Josh for being such a good sport and losing so well. I'd also like to thank my parents because without them, this awesomeness would not be here. Don't
forget to thank God.
I was about to. God. I'd like to thank God and the
Save
Holy
the man
Ghost and all that
upstairs. I
stuff.
have to thank the man upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you the real MVP.
Right.
Just by the way, to add one bit of context to these masks, right? Because it's a Kickstarter. They asked for a goal of $12,140. And as of now, with 10 days left to go at the time of this recording, 4,722 people have backed this project with a total goal of $243,000.
Do you know why? Everybody who goes to a rave wants one of these masks.
Absolutely. I know at least 3 people in my life who would be like, oh yeah, I should totally buy this. Like, it's totally happening.
Because I always go to raves.
We all know who
time.
you're talking about, Japan.
Yes,
right.
I do.
Exactly right.
All right. Well, listen, this is not a one-way street, this podcast. We always want to hear from you what you have to say. So please find us on Facebook or Twitter at That Kind of Nerd. Or if you really want to connect with us, give us a call. Shoot us a text message at 484-373-4119. We will read your comments on the air. Thank you to everyone who replied to our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook this week for the XFL. Greatly appreciate your feedback. Tell us what you think about this week. We definitely want to hear about what you feel about the topics. I want to thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work, and we will see you all next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show. I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd. And Apple versus Android is a case to be heard. And that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
Oh, those nipple clamps, they're tight. You gotta be careful with them.
Brian would know. That's true.
Well, I would not know. That's odd. Why would you say that?
Denying our Wednesday afternoons. I see what's happening here.
What, really? Wednesday after? First off, they were Thursday afternoons.
Ah!